the Dive in 5 for 4th grade, Generate, Describe, and Extend Numerical Patterns. I'm Shanna Uwe. For your first task, we're going to have you pause the video, complete the task on your own or with a team or partner. Solve for the answer. What is the rule to get to the next shape? How many blocks would shape 4 have? Draw that model. As you're thinking through the task, consider what would students need to understand to be successful, and why is it important to include the CRA model with numeric patterns? So go ahead and pause the video and we'll see you soon. So let's take a minute to look at the progression of patterning with BEST. In 3rd grade, students determined and explained using place value whether a whole number up to 1,000 was even or odd, determined whether a whole number is a multiple of a given one-digit number, and used ordinal numbers to describe the position of a number within a sequence. They also identified, created, and extended numeric patterns involving addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. In 4th grade, we are describing number patterns and generalizing about the rules that they follow, recognizing that a rule dictates the repeating process, generating patterns given that rule, and extending a pattern that follows a given rule. In 5th grade, they're going to continue that and also using a 2-column table. They're identifying a rule that describes a pattern and writing a rule that describes a pattern as an expression. So in 4th grade, we're going to kind of discuss all those different pieces. So starting with describing and generalizing number patterns, students will look at a numeric pattern, which may be represented with a model or just numbers, and generalize a rule that fits the pattern every time. They will need to look at how the numbers change in order to look at which occurs every time and generalize the rule. So here's an example. We have a pattern here. So we can see that it's in the first one I can add by 5 and multiply by 6, but that's the only time that I can multiply by 6. Every other time was add by 5. So we can generalize that the rule is increase the number by 5 each time. In 4th grade, as we discussed before, we are also generating a pattern given a specific rule. So when we're generating a numeric pattern, you may be given the first number or first few numbers and the rule then asked to create that pattern. So here's an example. The rule is multiply by 2. What are the next 4 numbers in the sequence? So I know I need to, 1 times 2 was 2, 2 times 2 was 4, so I need to continue that and keep multiplying by 2 to show that pattern. And here's another example. The first term in a pattern is 6. The pattern follows the rule add 4. Which of the numbers below is a term in the pattern? So you can see that I would start at 6, add 4 each time, and then I'm looking now back at those options. Which of those was there? 14. So then we're moving into extending numerical patterns. So in order for this to happen, first the rule must be either identified if not already given. And from there, students can draw or calculate to determine the next number in the sequence, or sometimes the 10th number or whatever. So here's the task that you guys did at the beginning. What is the rule to get to the next shape? How many blocks would shape 4 have? So first step, I need to figure out how many are in each shape. Then I'm looking at, well, I know it's an increase, so I'm either going to add or I'm going to multiply. I can add by 2 the first time or multiply by 3. I can add by 6 the next time or multiply by 3. So it looks like times 3 is that pattern. So moving on and extending that pattern, I know I can keep drawing models until I figure out how many blocks would stage 4 have, and it would be 27. So to kind of recap some of the different models and strategies we discussed, you could use color tiles to create a pattern. You could use just the numbers and kind of draw it like a number line, or just draw a model to continue a shape pattern with numbers. And then the abstract thinking would be writing the rule or just recording the numbers to show that pattern or how you're extending it. Once again, remember with the CRA model, we want to make sure we're going back and forth on those bridges so that we can solidify them and make connections. Thank you for joining me today to discuss generating, describing, and extending numerical patterns, 4th grade, Math Dive in 5. See you next time.